The number one pitfall that can destroy you as a multifamily investor is paying too much. Look, you can fix anything on a property, but you can't fix paying too much. That is the one detrimental thing that you can't recover from. So how do you avoid it? Let's talk about that. So if you listen to this video, you're not going to make that deadly mistake. Maybe not deadly, but it's going to hurt a little bit if you do that. So let's talk about how you can avoid that. If you're going to not overpay for a property, there's two people you want to check with. One is the broker. Two is the mortgage loan officer. So a great thing about multifamilies is when you're putting debt on these, which you should be, but when you're putting debt on properties, you're using the bank's money and the bank is evaluating the deal. So what's going to happen is, as you look at a property with a loan officer, they're going to make sure that the property meets what they call a debt service coverage ratio. And this is where the bank looks at the property and how much money it's supposed to make. And then they say, how much loan debt are we going to put up? How much of a loan obligation are you as the borrower going to have? And then they look at that as a ratio and they want to see it to be about 1.25. So what that means is that they want you to have an income 25% more money than what is required in order to be able to pay them. That's sort of like the bare minimum of what they would do. So as a borrower, this makes you sort of have another set of eyes looking at it, right? So the loan officer says, okay, I qualify this property based on what I've seen in the numbers, historical financial information. They're looking at this and saying, okay, we feel comfortable with lending on this. The second thing that you're going to do, all right, so make sure you got that. Make sure that your loan officer has bought into it and that you are comfortable with that. The second thing is that you want to look at your broker. The broker is going to also be selling this deal to you. And although you can't take all of their information as face value and say that it is accurate, they are a good resource when it comes to being able to get a preliminary assumption about how that property can perform. They look at the market all the time. They're constantly seeing what properties sell for. They're constantly seeing how rents are being raised at other properties. So they know they're professionals in your area. So you want to leverage what they know and say, okay, where can these rents potentially go? So now that you know the rents can potentially go higher, and you know what a bank will loan you on the property now you can use those two numbers to figure out how comfortable you are as a borrower. Saying like, all right, well, based on how it is right now, I've got a 1.25 debt coverage ratio today. And I feel like I can grow this in the future because I know that my rents can go up, or I know that I can cut the expenses down. So now I feel confident as a borrower that I'm not overpaying. The important thing is that you look at your property on a month by month scenario. So every month you want to be able to say, what are my expenses that month? What is my income that month? Do I have cash flow? Can I pay my mortgage? And as long as you buy properties like that, as long as you buy properties where there's cash flow to pay that mortgage and you keep a little rainy day fund because things can go wrong, then you won't have to worry about the costly mistake of overpaying for a property. You'll be able to weather the storm because if things go south, you can always use that cash flow to sustain you until things get better in a market and in a property. So keep that in mind as you're going forward. Don't overpay for properties, but make sure that you know why you're not overpaying right now. Buy smart. Buy smart, know your numbers, be educated, and you won't fall into that trap of overpaying. Hopefully you found this helpful. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this. If this was clear enough, if there's anything else that I could clarify for you, let me know. I'll be there to answer your questions. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.